So somebody was commenting about the old days of Hollywood in the '80s with the burgeoning punk and post-punk scene, and yes, I was there. So pretty interesting. My friend Rick Parker had a band called Lions and Ghosts, and his roommate was Perry Farrell. And I had a band. I was a lead singer and a keyboard player, and we, at one point we had, I think, Red Hot Chili Peppers open for us. That was a big mistake because they blew us away. But I had kind of a steampunk look. Now, steampunk hit the scene, what we call the Macy's window in '88. '87 maybe, but back in the '80s I was dressing up with a monocle and with vests and top hats and all that. It's interesting because when you look at fashion, for roughly 400 years, you had suits for men. You would have trousers and a matching coat and a waistcoat. And then when Queen Victoria came into power, you saw the frock coat and the vest and trousers. And you would see the length of jackets either extend or go trimmed. You think about Lincoln with his famous top hat. That was the fashion of the late 1850s and 1860s. And you would see them with braces, or otherwise known today as suspenders. And you would see that everywhere. What would happen is that instead of today's society where you've got the slacker look or the gym clothes look or the Wall Street suit and tie, you can tell what a person's profession was by their outfits. They could be a soldier or a blacksmith or a teacher or a doctor or a farm laborer. And even with farm labor, they would wear a vest because it was unbecoming to be in shirt sleeves. So that was that. And the vest was a visual representation of what class you came from. And back then, men were men. They were masculine in their attire. And that was a component of their identity. And of course, the fashionistas understood that they wanted to continually create a look that would outwardly reinforce these qualities. The finer the material of the vest, the better the social standing of the wearer. And so that's how it was. And as far as the middle class, which included doctors and lawyers and lower level bankers, or those who were pretentious, they wouldn't be caught dead without their vests. It didn't matter if it was boiling summer. It was the look, the outlook. So they would have all sorts of patterns, checks, paisleys, stripes, tone on tone. You would have these really unusual jackets with a poacher's pocket. Pretty interesting things. And you can see that everywhere. You can see that with the 30s and with the 40s and even into the 50s. And then it started to change. And today what we have is it would shock people. It would seriously shock people. But that's the way it is. It is. And as far as me these days, well, I don't wear a suit or tie anymore. I haven't done that in a long time. I mean, occasionally, but it's not my deal. And to me, I used to wear a suit and tie every day for work. ran a business, and prior to that, before I owned my own business or businesses, uh, I was a senior vice president of a company, and every day had a suit and tie and suspenders. It would have a vest, would have a look. Now, during the mid '90s, what was very cool was that you had a look start to come back, which were the hat bands, and you saw Big Bad Voodoo Daddy and all those guys. I was friends with a guy named Bob Dalpe from the Martini Brothers, and he was kind of a crooner in the style of Frank Sinatra, 1930s, 1940s, and he was very good. I mean, he's still a wonderful guy. He's a Czech American, so that's that. But going back to the '80s, it was a wild time, and you just have no idea. There was this originality with certain groups. We were friends with the Shadow Minstrels and with X and with the Dead Kennedys and a bunch of other groups, and a lot of them had modest fame after their careers by selling vinyl, but some of them blew up real big. Jane's Addiction and Red Hot Chili Peppers, among others. So I never really wanted the fame because to me fame is dangerous, and in a lot of ways, if you see the people who seek fame, they're creeps. They are. I mean, they seek it like a moth to the flame. And what good does it do? Well, they are consumed by it. They need to be the center of attention. They're narcopaths. It's the only way to describe it. So who the hell wants that? I always wanted to be very quiet and let my music talk for me. And I think even through all the chaos of recent days, I've achieved that somewhat. I'm not living for people to talk about the composer, but rather to talk about the music. Because to me, it's the song, not the singer.